more rattling. plenty power. Still plenty to do, but the front subframe is on, the hood is mounted. Still gotta do some work and clean up on the steering, the brackets I had to make. One thing I don't like about chain steering, the wheel slop. It's apparent at higher speed I have slop in the steering, slop in the factory ATV links. So that's something I'm gonna have to try to eliminate. It was a lot easier to drive with one hand the original way before I built all the subframe. But before I had a subframe, there was no slack in the steering and none of these links, but this whole front end was flexing whenever I turned. So when I built this frame, I tried putting my steering back the way I had it originally, hooked up to the main shaft, the main steering column, and it would bind up really bad because there was no more flex. And I thought it was because maybe my hose are off. I redone my hose, got my alignment and geometry correct, and it was still binding up. So the best thing I could figure out to do was a 2-to-1 reduction on the steering, which I accomplished with a old 30 series torque converter that was broken. I used that as a bearing block, a 30 series converter. I welded a sprocket that was 5/8 on, and stacked the bigger sprocket on top. This was a 1.5-to-1, and I found it wasn't enough, so I went to 2-to-1. And I didn't have a 5/8 bore for that big sprocket, so I just welded on top of that one. There's all this slack I need to get rid of. Some of these bolts are probably still loose. Couldn't wait to ride it. But yeah, the hood's on. Everything fits. Steering just clears. I did have to trim the front of the hood. Put a tire swing to clear under suspension. This front suspension it's what I got. I don't like the single 8-arm suspensions because the tires toe in, especially when the suspension is compressed. But it does its job. Rear brakes on the foot pedal. I still need to come back and make all my tins and guards. I'm gonna get rid of all the holes I don't need, including in the dashboard. I got to make my back filter piece to cover up the sprocket and the brakes, and do something better with the rear brakes. This was temporary because I want the rod, but this is rear brake, and that's also a parking brake. I can lock it in as a parking brake. Still have to shorten my shifter and get a better throttle cable. But I mean, it's doing its job now, and I need to get rid of all that rattle. Maybe put a rubber hose around this. Might help with the rattle. Might not. I do have enough room in the front. If I want to put a winch, I could feed a winch through here. I don't really need the winch, but I may put it for some extra weight in the front. It'll give the front brakes a little better response with more weight. And I can also put a battery in here. I do have this is a non-Hemi. I have an electric start system for a non-Hemi. I picked up a generator off the side of the road. I don't know what's wrong with it other than it's falling apart, but it is a non-Hemi electric start. So that's a future add-on. And I do need new tires. It'll be a while before I get tires. These tires are dry rot. They're all stress cracked. All 4 of them are dry rot. I do have a new set of rear tires, same size, but they're heavy grip. They're gonna tear up my yard pretty bad. But yeah, progress is coming along. I think for right now I'm gonna stop on it. It's rideable. I got a lot of other projects to do, but I will get back on this one. One major thing that's gonna have to be done is the exhaust. This gets so hot you can't put your hand on it. You can feel the heat radiating on your leg because my exhaust limited on room. I mean, everything just clears. This engine just fits in this frame. To do any work on the engine has to come out. But you undo the 4 bolts, pull off the chain, throttle cable, and the engine just turns and fits out of this hole right here. I do want to extend my fenders, but they're gonna have to be bolt-ons. I'm gonna cut here. I have another pan like this. I'm gonna cut it right here, and I'm gonna make this longer, come out and up a little bit. As to stop all the mud from flying in my face. I still need to make a guard for the converter, And I may box in this right here just because. But overall, I'm very, very happy with it. And, I can't wait to finish it. But like I said, I've got a lot of other projects going on, and at least now it's riding. The purpose of me building this was to have a vehicle to go to the back without using my riding mower, so I can put my deck back in my mower and cut my grass. But thank y'all for stopping by. Any questions, comments, let me know. I just really want to show off all the work I've done to get the steering in here. There was a lot of fabrication and figuring out, and like I said, this engine just fits. This is a 212 Predator. I could probably fit a bigger single cylinder without the fuel tank. I could probably fit up to 16 horse single cylinder in here. The steering rod itself is about an 1/8 inch away from the valve cover. So if I pull this tank off, I've got about 4 inches to work with. I can always chop this, and this has already been extended 6 inches. The original mower axle was here. If I'd have left the wheelbase stock as a mower is, I would not have been able to fit this engine in here because of this ATV steering shaft. But yeah, y'all check it out. Let me know what y'all think. Thank y'all for stopping.